Sego, everybody. Welcome to Indigenous Let's Talk Water, and this is our season
Sup?
finale.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
We have Dexter as my co-host, and we also have
Skyler.
Skyler Williams. Skyler Williams. Sorry, just blinking. But yeah, this is our season finale, and we have so many artists, Indigenous artists here, and we have an MP. Oh no. And we also are having an auction,
A live pie auction,
a live pie auction,
which
and
all the pies are homemade by Makasa's sister Ashley,
yeah,
and
Ashley
they are
Cooke,
so delicious and they're
as you can
full of
see.
sugar. So come get it. They're so delicious and they're still warm. Ooh, that's hot. Just kidding. It's still good. So we're gonna have a good time. We're not gonna be on for a long time, but we are here for a good time. You know what I'm saying? And we have tons of award-winning artists who are going to play music for you, so please show your support. We're raising funds for our land protectors at Land Back. Tonight we're trying to raise $2,500 for their legal defense, so get your wallets out. I know y'all got EDT and EBT, whatever, even those are good, so send them in. Send them in, guys, send them in. So party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth. All right, it's Wayne's World, party time, excellent. Go ahead.
Yeah, so ways that you can donate throughout this live stream, you can bid on the links in our comment section in this live stream. So the first way is a homemade pie auction. There's 6 pies to bid on, baked by the famous Ashley Cooke. There's 2 pumpkin, 2 apple, 1 blueberry, 1 banana cream. So go to our Facebook event page and in the comments in this live stream. And you can.
The link is located in the comments and in the description below.
Yeah, and there's going to be the photos of the pies there, and you can comment however much you want to bid on, and it's starting at $15. So please bid on. You can bid on all the pies. You can go into the book auction. You can basically do however much you want to bid on each pie. So you can go ahead and do that right now or throughout the live stream. And the second auction, the bidding closes at 8 p.m. So make sure that you get
Tonight.
those comments in there on the pies.
It'll be over before like the last few singers are gonna start singing. We'll be closing out the show to me, Cam, and Norm. We'll be singing our own, traditional social dance songs. Maybe some Askanye, Gayowa. Maybe some, some old fish dance. Whatever. You can hear me in these mics. 1 mic, 2 mic. Okay. So we're going to be doing that at the end. So just wait till the end because, that's the best part. Just kidding. And we're also going to have a book raffle too. So donate to the 1492 Landback Lane GoFundMe during our show. The link is located in the comments from 7 to 9:30 to enter our Indigenous book raffle as well. And we have 2 separate books here. We have one called An Act of Genocide by Karen Stoat. And the Act of Genocide is look at colonialism and the sterilization of Aboriginal women. It's a very interesting read. You really want to look into this. This is like one you're going to want to read over and over and read to your kids at before bedtime, okay? And this other one here we got is Braiding Sweetgrass. And this is by Robin Wall Kimmerer, and it is Indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants. And she is a mother, scientist, decorated professor, and an enrolled member of the Citizen of the Potawatomi Nation. And she also has several other books to Gathering Moss, some writings in Orion and O Magazine. So she's very distinguished teaching professor, and she's very up to her stuff on this. So
to get on those book raffles for those 2 books, all the donations go count, or all for one donation, one entry is $5. So and you can enter as many as times as you want. So one entry is $5 and 2 entries $10, and it goes up and up. So you can donate as much as you want, and $5 is like however many entries that you get. So yeah, that's gonna be in the GoFundMe link that is also attached to the live stream here.
Make sure you have a screenshot of your donation receipt to be eligible to win as well. And you can participate in both options. So bid on a pie and donate to the GoFundMe to enter our raffle. Okay. And without further ado, we shall also introduce this person next to me. His name is Skyler Williams, and he's the land back spokesperson. And he's Mohawk Wolf Clan land protector from Six Nations. He's been working hard as a protector for many, just kidding, not that many. No, just kidding. But he has been around for a long time, okay? And he knows his stuff. And he's our guest here tonight. So, Skyler?
I think we're gonna play a video first.
Correct,
hold
Hannah?
it.
Yeah, to give a little introduction.
Yeah, to give a little introduction.
Video.
Yeah,
Like
so you know who
and
you
this
are.
is,
So we know what you're about.
This is his interview from Dish with One Spoon documentary.
This was a while back.
I was involved in Ganastado for these. Lived there for a better part of 6 months. And then most recently down Sterling Street. It was just another building on our back door again. And a lot of the developers that were there were involved in Douglas Creek. Thought of it more of as a slap in the face that they could move up the road and thought they could get away with it. I got a son, he's 5. I got a daughter, 6 months old. We're at the forefront of why we're fighting. You know, of why we're at the struggle. Whether you can talk about social problems, alcoholism, drug abuse, mass suicide. We keep getting pressed aside as this broader genocide is pushed on us every day. And this forced assimilation is just, it's too much. If we don't stop, stand up now, and try and stop what we can now. You know, I can't see my son or my grandkids going through all of the stuff that we've been put through. OPP came in and the riot squad again, and I was tasered and arrested. Suffered broken ribs during the arrest. The police are targeting us left and right as they're trying to get us out of there. I mean, they're trying to settle land claims through arrests. I got charged with robbery ×2. Sterling Street, there's mischief, assaulting police, and a series of fail to appears in court. I spent 43 days in custody. One time I was locked in my cell for a better part of 24 hours with my toilet backed up and the water didn't work. I had no drinking water, nothing. Well, if you want to know what being strip searched 7 times is like, you go into a little room with your cellmate after they do a search. They search all the cells, tear all your stuff apart, and then you get took in the shower where there's 5 guards standing. You stand beside your cellmate. You drop your boxers to your feet. Lift your shirt up, bend over, grab your ankles, and you hold that position for 5 seconds or so. Anywhere else in the world that's rape, but at least you do that to somebody on the street, you're sitting in the cell next to me. And these are people where I wasn't convicted of anything. They don't care who we are. They don't care that we're a sovereign people. They don't care that we have our own laws. We are in their system, and that's where they want to keep us.
Hi, welcome back. We have Skyler Williams here, and he's going to talk a little bit about land back. So, Skyler, what is the biggest misconception that people have about land back?
Misconceptions, I think there's lots. Yeah, I think there's lots of misconceptions. I think the biggest one, though, is about it being violent. You know, like right from the very first day, on the very first day we went in there, we were very deliberate about everything that we do. But most certainly the first day that we went in to Land Back Lane, before it was Landbag Lane. We went in there on a Sunday night about supper time, just so that we would avoid any big confrontation with developers or police or any of the like. And so we made sure, how's that?
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that we had, that we were able to set up our camp without, without having too much of a, to be as less aggressive as we possibly could.
Didn't want to put out like that sort of image, right?
That's right. And so we got there at about 5 o'clock in the evening. Went and we set up our camp. We hung up a couple flags and made a fire. Then we had supper. We sat down and ate together and laughed and told stories and so that's been kind of the tact that we've taken right from the very start. When the barricades went up the first time after August 5th, when the cops raided us again for the cops raided the camp on August 5th after 17 days of us, and we all kind of jokingly laugh. It's kumbaya by the fire down there.
Yeah.
And it's and it's about peace and it's about unity, and it's always been about that.
How did it start?
It was a few of us that were just kind of kicking around the idea after the Wet'suwet'en blockades in February and March, and we had talked about we're ready to take some land back for ourselves and make a stand on our own and make sure that this was going to be moving in the right direction. And so we had heard about Mackenzie Meadows a couple of years prior, and that it was going to be rolling up right to the doorstep of Guanastato. And so again, from that video, we were watching the video and watching me be arrested there. I hadn't seen that video in I don't know how many years, 10 years at least.
Holy moly!
And so
that video was from Caledonia wanted to encroach on more lands.
That's right.
And that was the first protest that happened 9 years ago, and now it's happening again. Basically the same thing with Mackenzie Meadows.
Yeah, now 1492 land back.
Yeah.
And it will never be known as anything else but that. And so we've been doing everything we possibly can to make sure that it stays a peaceful. Like even when the barricades went up, we were the biggest advocates for them to come down because it needed to be about the land, and despite the threats of OPP, we wanted to make sure that we were doing everything on our side that we could to make sure that we were being showing that sign of good faith. And then when they came in shooting at us again, that's when roads got dug up and a bus got dragged across the road. And
that's what you have to do.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't know if it's it certainly keeps us a lot safer, that's for sure.
Yeah. You always want to take like the more I don't want to say political, but like the safest, peaceful, most able to stay out of the whole violence route possible, even if it is, digging up a road or bringing out a barrier, it's only for us to keep our people safe, I understand that, and it's always got to, it always got to come from the other side as to why, so they can justify a reason, to pull out a gun and stuff like that. And you see that a lot too, like with the representation, like from the other side, they're saying that we're, instigating and we're, being kind of like terrorists almost. They're trying to start a lot of different stuff. I mean that terrorist bit is Ken Hewitt, and Haldeman County Police Services Board. That is the kind of the directive body for policing in Haldeman County. Did call us all terrorists, and they took exception with me anyways to say that they should have known that Skyler Williams is a known activist and is a known antagonist in all of this, and said that I would be, they should have known, the OPP should have preempted our going in at Mackenzie Meadows, and so when they should have arrested me way long time ago and made sure I stayed in jail for a real long time.
Yeah.
And then that's when that whole like planting things.
That's
and,
right.
But we're resilient.
This is it. And so when I was arrested with 8 other people on August 5th, when I got out of lockup that day, somebody showed me a video of the highways being taken over and the railways being blocked, and they said and when I got back down there, like people asked myself and a few others what we wanted to do, and all of us wanted to go back to Land Back Lane.
Yep.
And so that's exactly what we did. There's about, again, just like the very first day, about 20 cars, caravan back to Land Back Lane, and we drove in the front door the same way we did the very first day. And we've been there since. That was the only 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the longest 5 hours ever.
Yeah.
Of us not being at Land Back Lane in the last 131 days today. And
Wow.
No, and
131 days today.
yeah, it's been a long bit.
And it's always been, sort of like, I think like a statement too, for you to even come on to our podcast, and just sit here and talk, right? Like, it just shows you that we're not really, terrorists, like, we're really simply people trying to protect what is ours and what's naturally ours, as should everybody else, right? Like, it's a basic human right that we all should know and should uphold to basically the bitter end sometimes, sometimes we have to do that. But yeah, I got another question for you. What do you think is needed to resolve the situation?
Well, I think it's something that the federal government has been talking about for the last, half a dozen years now. They've been talking about these nation-to-nation relationships, about what that's going to look like, and all of these really pretty words that they keep on saying, that seeing Indigenous people across the country come out to vote in ways that we never have before. Justin Trudeau got the Indigenous vote out like we've never, like, we are just not a people that vote. And we aren't, not just here at Six Nations, but across the country. And so when he talked about these nation-to-nation relationships, this is the very same thing that my grandparents and great-grandparents have talked to me and my parents about for their whole lives.
Likewise, yeah.
And it's funny. I put this shirt on. What about the Dutch? And so, like, this is something that my dad would talk to us about being those treaty relationships that we have with the English, the Dutch, the French.
Yeah.
And so every time we get into these circumstances, every single time somebody says, well, what about the Dutch? And so and for me it's like infuriating because it's like, they don't care either.
Yeah.
Like those white people, they don't care either.
Yeah.
And so my friend made me a shirt and he's like, what about the Dutch?
Oh, nice. You made
Because
it.
he's not very nice.
And we will have this up for auction as well. Signed by Skyler. Yeah.
This is it. Yeah. What about the Dutch?
Yeah, that's likewise with that that whole been taught not to vote, because in reality there is no law or anything that dictates us as Native American people actually need their laws, their licenses, and all this other stuff. There is no law that dictates it. There is no treaty because we honor treaties. So there is really nothing that dictates that we actually need them. It's this whole thing of being indoctrined and trying to be assimilated, right? And it's always a trick that is told to us that says that we need this. We have to have this in order to go off the reservation and stuff like that. So it's really like it's a whole trick.
Well, it's participating in the hand of the oppressor is the way that it was always taught to me. Like, who are you? Who am I to talk about participating in the system that's seen my forefathers killed and like that genocide, that active genocide that in some degrees is still happening today.
Oh yeah.
But like our grandparents, our great grandparents, they seen that in full swing. And so who am I to spit on their graves by participating in that system of oppression that's seen our parents and grandparents with the whether you want to talk about smallpox and disease, or you want to talk about residential school, or you want to bring it to today in the over-incarceration of Indigenous people.
Yeah, it is very like a wide spectrum of things,
Absolutely.
Right? Like it holds some sort of like dictation over every aspect of our lives.
Sure, it does. And that wanton criminality, like that black and Indigenous people are more apt to criminality. That's why we are overrepresented in the justice system, in jails and prisons. Like in jails and prisons, we make up 25% of the population. Yeah. In the world, we make up 3% in Canada.
Yeah, we make up pretty much like less than 3%, really. And to say that, that's an interesting statistic. 25% of all of the incarcerated peoples in Canada and the U.S., right, is all Ongwehoe. And we only represent probably 3% to less in the entire population. We represent less than that. And 25% says a lot, you know. And that's a lot of our families, a lot of our people gone away forever, you know, for sometimes for little things, you know, by sticking up for themselves or, you know, petty crimes and whatnot. It's only a reason for the oppressor to really, you know, he always tries to make an example of us, you know, and but like when other people do it, it's always like a sort of like, oh, let's not try and hurt him and his family and whatnot, but they always try and make an example out of us, you know. So that's a really interesting statistic, and I.
Well, the idea
Yeah.
of over policing and under policed.
Mhm.
We are over policed in terms of everything, except when we call the cops
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to get any of our interests preserved. We are under policed, and so we missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
Yep.
Like that's the huge under policing issue, right? And so for everything else, we are over policed in so high a degree that sees those crazy drastic numbers, that
Mhm.
sees us, you know, over incarcerated by, you know, the nth degree.
Yeah, so we're on the topic of like charges and stuff. So, what have people been charged with down at Landback? It's one of the questions.
So I mean, and I know we've got some of our my friends on the Zoom right now, and so
On
I
the
see
horn.
Matt Green and Logan Staats and Layla that, you know, like
Yeah.
they've been getting lots of calls from the OPP
Mm.
to come and harassed by them to be able to see them criminalized for Logan and Layla for coming down and lifting the spirits of everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody at Landback Lane when they come down and they sing and they jam, and we have lacrosse games all summer long. We did that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for them guys to come out and do that for us was amazing. Derek Miller, I know Derek Miller's been called to go and turn himself in. Tom Wilson from Junk House there, he came out and saying he's since been arrested. Phil Davis has been arrested for singing down there. My wife, Tahnee, she's going to be on the show later on today at 8 o'clock. And and so like some of these amazing, most powerful artists that we have in Six Nations came out to support us, and like you know, I can't say enough about how like Logan and Layla when they come out and sing.
Well,
for
you got
us.
5 minutes here, so say as much as you want.
And for Matt Green, who come out and very early on,
Mhm.
and he was threatened by the OPP that if he come down there as a federal official
Mhm.
to come and find out exactly what's going on, so he could take back to government exactly what it is that was happening. He came and met with the Confederacy Council, Sol Mamakwa and Suze Morrison and Sarah Singh were out just a few weeks ago, and like these are the things that some of our elected politicians in this country have been doing. And Matt himself got called by the OPP and says he's done it again. You're going to jail for it.
Yeah.
You're going to be arrested. And so these are the threats that the OPP are handing out to people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whenever media people come walking past the gate, the media people are told by the OPP, if they grab you and beat you up,
Mm-hmm.
we can't go in there to help you. So you are on your own once you pass this line.
Yeah.
Like this is the
Yeah.
media, and this
And
is the
Yeah.
media in this country.
I think
Yeah.
that's their new tactic as OPP. I think that their new tactic, because they learned from the first time, if they go in and right out attack everybody, then the whole community is going to be coming out and fighting. And that's what happened the first time. And so I think they learned, and they have a new tactic to now single out people, and that's how they get people by singularly by calling them and catching them off guard, or catching them in the parking lot, or catching them when they're going to get groceries. That's their new tactic now, for it to not be publicized on the media,
Yep.
Mhm.
for tons of different reasons. But that's their new tactic, is now charging people and getting them when they're at the grocery store or going to doctors or going to do everyday stuff, and when they're not at the site. And
My wife was arrested at the grocery store. She
Yeah,
went to go
exactly.
and get stuff and get away from the site for the afternoon, and was
Yeah.
picked up sitting on a park bench,
yeah.
Yeah.
and was surrounded by the OPP.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why we want to help fundraise, and so our viewers can help fundraise for
Yes.
all of the protectors and land protectors charges, because they're getting them, and there's a lot, and they need help.
Mm.
And so if you want to help, to make sure that you donate and you can help them and help their court cases,
And a lot of
because
these
it gets expensive.
and a lot of these people, they're your relatives, so
Yeah.
they're
And
your
so right
relatives.
now we're at
you know,
36 people.
Yeah.
36 people have been charged and arrested for stuff regarding Land Back Lane. And so for people that have just come down to the site that were, like Logan, like Derek Miller, like Tom Wilson that got arrested for being down there, they've been charged with mischief and failing to abide a court order. And so, and I was actually arrested for the very same thing. So those same charges that they got. And so for most of them, they're probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 fine and less.
Yeah.
And for that very same charge, for that I got for all the things that kind of went before August 5th, the Crown's initial position for those same charges for me is 1.5 years of jail time for
Wow.
So everybody, every little bit helps, So just come on, man. You guys gotta donate. Get out your monies. Gotta donate. Please go to GoFundMe.com for the legal fund 1492 Land Back Lane.
And what are some other ways that people can support?
Oh, I mean, and I talk about this about capacity. For some people, it's doing a podcast and doing this kind of stuff, to do outreach, to do, education bits. And so for other people, though, it's donating $20, $40, $100 to the GoFundMe page. For other people, it means going out and spending the day. For others, it's the weekend, the week. We've had some folks that came out on the third or fourth day and have just never went home. And so like for each person, the capacity is different. And so I'm nobody to tell anybody what their capacity should or shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, and this was a long time coming for a few of us, and knew that this was coming, and so we were able to kind of get our ducks in a row to be able to do this. And so I figure I got a good couple of years in me here before I start to wear down, and so for right now I'm going full steam ahead. And so
he's in his what do you call it? Them glory years, them peak years.
I don't know if I'm in those anymore, but
he's in that stage right now. So I get him while he's hot, basically.
Okay.
So all right, now we got our.
I think
thank you.
Our next speaker, our next artist, who is Logan Staats. And Logan Staats is a Juno-nominated award-winning singer and songwriter from Six Nations. He's the winner of CTV show The Launch. And he has won the Indian Summer Award, Aboriginal People's Choice Award, Indigenous Music Award, Native American Music Award. Thank you for being here today, Logan.
And we just want to thank Skyler one more time for coming here.
Well, they know each other, and Logan has been down and performed, like you said, and
Logan and Layla have both been down lots, and again, brother, nyawa, nyawa, nyawa. I really can't say enough about how appreciative every one of us at Land Back Lane, brother. It means the world to me.
I'm just blessed to know you guys and be a little part of the movement, and I got your back, and I'll do whatever I can for you. So anybody that's watching right now, anyone who's my fan, who's my friend, who's my family member, man, get out your checkbooks right now, or whatever. Get on your mobile banking app. I don't care how you do it, make an effort to, make a little change right now. And, I don't know. That's all I can say. I'm gonna play you guys a couple songs because I'm better at singing songs than I am talking. I'm so strong out on so-called love. Was waiting in the night for more love. I couldn't love them because I didn't love me. And I fucked with I love, I didn't know what love me. And then I met a stranger from a town called the Indigenous. She had a heart golden mansion, pretty head. She had eyes that match the sky. Truth be told, girls that look like that, they never really looked at me, no. And I think I'll just let go for her I know. And I think I'll just forgo everything I thought I knew about love. Knew nothing about love till right now. Until right now. I'm so caught up in some ancient song. I'm scorned by the women treating me wrong. And I couldn't love them because I didn't love me. And I couldn't love, yet I didn't know what love me. And then I met a stranger in a town called the Internet. She had a heart of gold and matched a pretty head. She had eyes that matched the sky. Oh, truth be told, girls that look like that never really looked at me, no. And I think I'll just let go for her I know. And I think I'll just forgo everything I thought I knew about love. Knew nothing about love till right now, till right now, till right now, till right now. And I think I just let go for the hurt I know. And I think I just forgo everything I thought about love. Knew nothing about love. Till now. Here we'll go, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it's 2 songs I'm supposed to play in it.
Great.
And our viewers enjoyed it too.
You have a song you wrote for Land Back, right?
Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I do.
Just tell us a little bit about that.
It's a little loud.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a little angry. A little punk rock. You spread like gas through the head. Can't watch red blood off a woman's head. No, you can't. Try to make your people understand. That's what they call it. Holy native land. Give it out, big, just take it away, take it away, give it out, big, keep it out, big, just take it away, don't keep taking away. red like cancer through the day. Can't wash red blood off the white man's tail. No, yeah. They're trying to make you people understand. That's why they call that broken-native hell. Give it all, big. Shake it away. Don't you take it away. Don't you take it away. A 6 mile each side of the river. A 6 mile each side of the river. Yes, the river. Yes, the river. Yes, the river. Yes, the river. Woo.
Yeah.
That's awesome, brother.
Yes,
You know
sir.
I got you,
Yes,
Skyler.
sir.
I know you
Anything
do,
that
brother.
you need, man. Anything you ever need, Skyler. Anything you need. You know you can call me, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You know you can call me, and I got you, man.
I love that shit.
So
brother.
yeah, I will
Thank you
go,
so
man,
much.
and gonna love for everything you're doing, bro.
Thank you. Love you.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
And I would have sang with him, but we tried this and there's a weird delay that happens. And it just was it was a really weird thing. But I was singing over here with you, Logan. And yeah, I just wanted to shout out to Skyler and everybody, all the land protectors out there that that are out there just, holding down the fort, and things are getting colder. So, everything that you can do to support, everything you can do to contribute, supplies, food, calling cards, prepaid credit card, all of these things help to help those guys out there. So thanks for.
Yeah, like any of my friends that are watching, any of my family that is watching, any of my peeps that are watching right now, I do not want anything for Christmas. I don't want any friggin' gifts. I want you to take that money and put it towards my brothers and sisters that are on the front lines. If you can do that for me, you have my utmost love and respect.
I want land back.
Santa
Claus, bring a bag full of land for us, buddy.
Yeah. Land for my grandkids.
Land for me. It's
7
my
generations.
grandkids. Oh man, thank you. That was an awesome song.
Hey, actually, while you're still on here, guys, what has the cops been saying to you guys? Have you guys gotten calls from the OPP? Let everybody know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I don't know if Layla's gotten calls from the OPP. I got one call from them, telling me to stay away from Land Back Lane, to stop posting things on social media, or I would be arrested. And just like Derek, I told him, I ain't fucking doing your job for you. Come find me. If you want to take me, come find me, and that's your job. But until then, I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep singing, and I'm gonna keep supporting you guys.
Right on, brother. I love it. Love it.
That's the way to be. That's the way to be. Kill them with kindness and the power of song. That's the way. That's the way Bob Marley used to live. Yeah. Yeah, professional. Yeah, thank you, Layla.
Good job.
Thank you. She gave me the ropes
Okay.
for how to handle myself on live, but I just thought, who gives a
Like,
damn
I feel
anyways?
low
Yeah.
sometimes.
You're hilarious. You're hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I don't try to be. Sometimes I just am funny, and people laugh at me, and I just like, hey, I guess that was funny. So,
Sometimes.
That wasn't that funny, but
yeah. Makasa thinks so sometimes. All the time. I'm funny all the time. She's funny too all the time, but in her own way. I laugh at her. Oh yeah, okay, back to our auction. Yeah, we got something running here. We have an auction going on, so we have a live pie auction, and bidding will be closed at 8 o'clock tonight. So you guys have to bid on the picture, which will be on the event page, right? Under the bid on each photo, under the event page in the discussion, right?
Yeah.
and you're gonna bid however much you want. We're starting at $15 a pie. These are all homemade by Makasha's older sister, Ashley. She's very famous. If you don't know her, well, now you know. And she made them with all kinds of love and all kinds of sugar, so they're gonna be super sweet and they're super delicious. I had a slice earlier, and I was like,
So is the one pie that you had a slice out of cheaper than the other ones?
No. Actually, it's more expensive. Because I don't have COVID, and...
So we have all kinds of pies. We have blueberry, we have apple, we have pumpkin. So comment on the pie that
Banana
you want.
cream.
And
My favorite, banana cream.
Banana
Oh,
cream.
banana cream, yeah.
Don't forget about that one.
So comment on the pie that you would like and bid however much you want to donate to land bag protectors, court cases, to help them out. So just bid on the pies, and if you are out of town, you're from Toronto, you're from New Zealand, from Hawaii, if you're from somewhere else in the globe, you can donate the pies back to Land Bank, and they'll have some pies tonight that they can munch on.
And you can go to our GoFundMe and, well, actually Land Bank's GoFundMe, and donate there as well.
Yep.
If you can't eat the pie necessarily here, I mean, we can ship it for you, but, you know, it'll be probably...
The second way is a book raffle, and you can donate on the Land Bag
It's a good book.
GoFundMe, and every $5 is one entry. So donate how many you want of tickets you want to donate, however much money you want to donate, and that will get you however many entries that you might get a chance to win the book of An Act of Genocide, Colonization and Sterilization of Aboriginal Women, or Braiding Sweetgrass, which is Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants.
And listen, if you're a big reader like I am, like whether you read on the toilet or you read at night, put yourself to sleep, you know, these books will leave you with questions of your own. You'll be thinking, why did I not know about this before?
Yes.
And let me tell you, you sleep on it, you're going to sleep for the rest of your life. We want you to wake up. Wake up and get out there.
With more knowledge.
Wake up. Wake up. Open up your eyes. Listen. Smell the black coffee that's brewing. It's out there. All that information's out there. All these people right now, you know, they're all first-hand witnesses and experiencers of all this type of oppression and hate. So everybody, you're going to help us out, help them out.
Yeah, so you can find these two ways to donate is in our live stream comments, in the discussion, and yeah, get there now while you can.
Just donate to donate.
Yes, or you can just donate to donate.
Oh, yeah.
Can I still bid on one of the pies?
Yes.
Yeah, you can, Logan. You do.
All right, I want to throw down a hundo.
They're freshly. This one's still warm.
I'm throwing down a hundo.
Oh, there goes
Woo!
one. Hundo.
Which one? Which flavor?
I don't know, Skyler. What one do you want? Because I'm sending it home.
Yeah. Banana cream pie, brother. Come on.
All right, yo.
Nice.
I got you.
I would have said
got it.
apple. I would have said
That's
apple.
it, brother.
I got you.
Right on.
All right, see everybody. Okay,
There you
yeah.
go, that
The
Land Bank
bidding
lane
is
tonight.
still open. He's only got $100. Somebody got $200.
Love it, love it.
All right, let's keep it going. All right.
Okay.
So up
Oh,
next.
we did have a question for Skyler, because remember we're
Oh
in the live
yes,
stream.
we also do have live stream questions from our live streamers as well.
Our audience have a question for Skyler, and one of our questions are, Hannah, could you say the question?
For Skyler, in the video you mentioned police tactics and Ken Hewitt in 2006, the Police Management Board, and how they oversee the OPP. Are those the same people still on that police board?
So the Haldeman Police Board now, like some of the more racist, most kind of violent antagonists from Caledonia's side that were really pushing the Gary McHale stuff, that were doing all of the hate speech of 2006, are now the mayors and the Haldeman Police Services Board chairs and board members and councillors in Caledonia, and so. It has elevated their status in the last within the community of Caledonia since 2006. And so Lawrence's sporting goods fella and Ken Hewitt just came down to the reserve to have a meeting with me just the other day and tell me and apologize to me about making all of their most racist comments, calling us terrorists, calling us applauding the OPP for arresting my wife, and encouraging the OPP to continue to target my family. And my family is, my brother who's in a wheelchair, my elderly parents who are in their late 70s, my teenage children. Like I don't know which family he was planning for the OPP to target, but this is my family. And so these are the people that I have continued to do everything that I can to make sure that I'm still, despite all of that, making every effort that I can to make sure that there's always a handout to those people to create that peaceful dialogue, to make sure that they understand that like we're not these violent terrorists that they try to portray us to be in the media and in newspapers and on social media or whatever. Like this is not who we are, and this is not what we are. This is not what we're about. And so, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Skyler. I think that answered the question.
And thank you, audience member, for that question. Who
Yeah.
was that? Who had that question, Hannah?
It was, one sec here. Can't pronounce the first name. Mikosui? Mikosii.
Alicia. Alicia Barrymore.
There you go.
She is my
I'm so sorry.
I know her. She's my friend. She's a student at McMaster University, and yeah, she's Cree. So thank you for your questions, and if you have any more, I think we can get. If you have any more questions for Skyler, we can ask him, and he'll answer you back on live. Yahweh and Yahweh.
To Logan as well.
To Logan and Layla. Thank you for being on here and showing your support. So, our next speaker, we have MP Matthew Green.
Matthew Green is the NDP MP for Hamilton Centre. He is a vocal supporter of land back and is here to say a few words. Thank you for being here tonight, Matthew. And my script here, it says behind.
I'm behind you, bro. I am 100% behind you, so that's accurate.
Here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Boju Sego Ani, I'm so deeply grateful to be joining you here this evening on what was an incredible opportunity to bring together amazing people for this very worthy cause. Certainly, I'm the very proud member of Parliament for Hamilton Centre. And before that, I was a city councillor. And for 10 years before that, I was a guest on the Haudenosaunee territories, the Six Nations of the Grand River, getting a chance to work alongside all people from that community, from Six Nations, from the Mississaugas of the New Credit as well. And that experience actually started, it was rooted in the 2006 reclamation, when the people from Six Nations felt like they could no longer go to businesses in Caledonia. They sought out my services here in Hamilton. And for 10 years, I delivered fitness programming, worked with the band council very closely on seniors programs, kids programs, March break programs, worked at the ILA, the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena. So my life for 2006, 2007, 2008 was driving by the occupation of the OPP on Haudenosaunee territory and seeing what that looked like firsthand, knowing the stories firsthand from the young men and women that I had the privilege of training from the elders who had been fighting this resistance and the struggle for so long. And so before I was a member of Parliament, I was a guest both on these traditional territories here in Hamilton, but more specifically on the territory of Six Nations communities. So that's what has informed me to this place. And it's a natural progression for me to be in, given the privilege and the honor that I have to serve my community at the federal level, that when a call was made from the Confederacy Council, the chiefs and the clan mothers and the faith keepers to go and hear firsthand about the outstanding issues going back to 1784 and the Haldeman Tract Proclamation. As a federal agent, I bring with me a spirit of decolonization, knowing that I am part of a colonial government. And it's from that place where I recognize the inherent given rights given by the Creator, not by any government, not by any European colonial power, but by the rights that are inherent to the first peoples of this land, of Turtle Island. And, you know, one of the privileges I had in attending the 1492 land back was to meet Skyler and to sit around the fire and to hear stories from the people who were gathering in a peaceful way, in a good way, in a way that is also in keeping, by the way, with colonial laws. Colonial laws under the Supreme Court decision of Dalgamuk state that traditional peoples must occupy territories in order to have claim to it. And it struck me as a former city councilor, somebody who would deal with people who would live side by side. And if you live in a city, you know what it's like. If neighbors ever have to rebuild their fence, you'll find the best intended people who might otherwise be rational and organized. But if the fence is off 6 inches, 8 inches, maybe a foot, those people who used to be friends who live side by side become bitter enemies over that 1 foot. And I try to explain to treaty people, non-Indigenous, non-First Nations people that feel so passionately about that 1 foot of their fence line, what it would be like to have the 500,000 acres reduced to the territory that is now under the Indian Act, Six Nations, so-called Six Nations Indian Reserve. And, you know, it's under these obligations to know that this is unrelinquished land, that the reason why, in my opinion, this government has not in good faith come to the table in negotiations is because they know they're wrong. It's not because they're altruistic. It's not because they don't have all the facts. I believe that they do have the facts, and I believe that they know what the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Council know, and First Nations peoples across this country know, that the legal fiction, the geography that we call Canada, is in fact not in keeping with the true laws that existed time immemorial of this government. And that's such an important, incredible thing. And, you know, when I hear from Skyler and the people who are holding this territory in consideration of future generations, which was always the intention, as I understand it, of the Haudenosaunee traditional people who signed these original agreements, even by the government's own records, that this was supposed to be territories unrelinquished. And it struck me the grace and the patience of the multiple generations. And, you know, going back to when the Haudenosaunee Confederacy Council, the traditional Confederacy Council, was forcibly removed from Six Nations and replaced with an Indian Act Council, that along those generations, some of the elders warned the colonial government that future generations would not be as patient. And yet here you are. You're not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that what is legally, you know, entitled 6 miles on either side of the Grand, that people from Caledonia have to get up and leave. I've never heard that. What I've heard is a very simple and rational claim to simply stop the development on disputed territories that are currently in the courts. So for me, as somebody who has a basic understanding of the law and a little bit more experience in government, all I want to see is the ability for Skyler, who has been named as the head of this person, but certainly is there. And I know from my experiences with people representing community, that you have your day to present this colonial government's law to itself, to hold up a mirror to the inequalities and the brutalization, that this government under Justin Trudeau can speak the language of reconciliation, but has still only ever acted in colonization and brutality of Indigenous people. And the dehumanization, the stories and why it was so important for me to stream this tonight is to see what I know, what I've lived with as a privilege for 15 years, which is the deep beauty and love and hospitality and grace that the Haudenosaunee people have shown me and have shown the rest of this country in these difficult times. So to know that people from Caledonia can visit the 6x6, and even the oppressors, even the most vile and racist among them, can come and still be received without violence. And I need to be clear about something. For anybody who suggests property damage is violence, has never been fired upon with rubber bullets or tear gas or tasers. The state holds the monopoly on violence. And when I heard around the fire, particularly from one of the elders who I know and respect very much, I think it was Norma General, I'm not sure exactly, but I think it was her who said that when they open fire, they don't tell you that the bullets are rubber. And, you know, when you have an elder from the community suggest that they are ready to die for these lands, they never suggest they're ready to kill for it. And I'll share this with you, that when this government put through a bill called Bill C-51, they did it, and it was under Stephen Harper, but supported by Justin Trudeau. It identified economic disruption to Canada as a form of domestic terrorism. And here's why that's important. Because they knew that peaceful protesters, that traditional peoples of these lands who are asserting their inherent rights under international law, particularly identified by the United Nations Declaration for the Rights of Indigenous People, that for them to do that, they could then classify them as terrorists and have the lethal overwatch that you saw in Wet'suwet'en territory, the brutal occupation that you've seen with the OPP here today, the threats of violence, ongoing real violence and harm, knowing that, you know, when I attended that site, it was the week of the murder of Dudley George, that these are not new struggles. And why that language of terrorism is so important is because white supremacy, white settler colonialism is perpetrated by the dehumanization of Indigenous people, that the people who are officially categorized under the Indian Act have less rights than everybody else. By design, that is a system of apartheid. That is the system that apartheid was designed on. And why it's so important for me to be here as a federal agent and somebody, not an agent, but a representative of the federal government, is to provide a balanced discourse in our communities for settlers and non-Indigenous people to have a peek into the beauty that is this people, that is this community. And so for the people that are out there, I'm all rigged up tonight because I'm live streaming on a bunch of different platforms. It was critically important for me to use the privilege and the power that I have to lift up these voices, to share firsthand that when you hear Skyler speak, I challenge you to listen to this man and come away with anything other than love and compassion and deep caring for his community. So if you have the ability, you know, I put my money where my mouth is. I started a small fundraising campaign to donate $14.92. I'm kind of a little bit jealous right now because I think that would have bought a lot of pies this time around. But I don't need those pies. But the point is that you are up against a government with infinite resources that they will actually use your trust funds to fund legal challenges against you for the dispossession of the land and the ongoing and present genocide that is the land dispossession, the mistreated and murdering Indigenous women, and the absolute brutal apprehension of Indigenous children under CAS, as well as the incarceration of Indigenous peoples in our colonial prisons. So that's what tonight is about for me. Thank you for inviting me into this space. And I'll just leave you with this, that a week ago, this government in the House of Commons stood up and they gave a hero's welcome. They gave a hero's honor to Louis Riel. And it wasn't lost on me that the government of that time hung him for treason. And the language that comes out of these governments when it deals with land defenders across this land, whether it's Wet'suwet'en, Haudenosaunee, Mi'kmaq, you know, that language of treason is the great white lie that somehow Indigenous people are supposed to have loyalty to this crown. That has never been a part of this agreement. And so I'm here as a treaty person with the treaty responsibility. We are all treaty peoples. For those of you who have the time, please do donate in whatever way you can. For those who have the resources, please do click the link and make sure that you give whatever you can within your discretion. We know it's tough times. We know it's difficult, but every dollar does help. And I believe in my heart, I'm going to say this, I'm not a legal expert, but I believe with what little legal knowledge I know that the case for 1492 land back, the so-called Mackenzie Meadows, is a strong case. I believe that municipalities do not have jurisdiction to grant building permits on land claim territories. I believe that provincial governments do not have the jurisdiction to de facto decide land claims at a provincial level through court injunctions.
Yeah, so we're back. We had a little technical difficulty and we have no problem with our Wi-Fi, so we think it's just straight Facebook blocking us because we have run into this issue before where we have been shadow blocked, and because we have a lot of activists on this channel. So, and since we have MP Matthew Green, who is talking about how we should be
The very radical Matt Green.
Yeah, he's gonna be considered radical, but he shouldn't be considered radical.
All he really is speaking facts, really.
He's
Truth.
being responsible and being how the government should be.
So honoring
doing.
those treaty relationships
Mhm.
is something that me and Matt talk about quite a bit, is about what that looks like for government to actually come to the table with real, honest, wanting to have that open dialogue. And like with the things that Matt has been doing is exactly what I would expect from Justin Trudeau to Premier Ford and all the way down.
He should be our Prime Minister. Matthew Green for Prime Minister.
We're going to change that MP around.
After this term, I don't know, we got some Black Lives Matter stuff happening here in Hamilton, and it's radical. And here's what's radical about it. Everything that's happening in this moment is based in a form of radical love. And this is what folks don't understand when it comes to things like solidarity. What they can't quite figure out is how people who are not directly impacted by something like this can have the kind of solidarity. And I want to end with this one thought, that the threat of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit are not in their violence or in direct confrontation with the law. The true threat to this government, to all colonial governments, from people seeking justice is sympathy and understanding and empathy coming from non-Indigenous people, i.e. white people. So when folks start to see the type of brutality that has been unleashed on Indigenous people for generations and begin to finally hold their government accountable, that is the true threat. The true threat is the radical love. And that's what I wanted to leave people with here today. Find that radical love in your heart. And in that radical love, find a radical donation and give till it hurts. Because reconciliation is about reparation. And here's an opportunity for you in your own way who've contributed to colonialism to give back in a real way. Thank you so much. And I'm so much looking forward to the other artists tonight. I appreciate and love all you guys.
Thank you.
Yahweh.
And what do we want for Christmas?
Land back.
Land back.
Land back for Christmas.
Like I said
Thanks a lot,
before,
Matt. I really appreciate the help, brother.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank
you,
you
Matt
for
Green,
coming.
the MP.
Nyawe. Bid on some pies yourself if you like.
Buy a couple. Buy all of them.
Hamilton isn't that far. You can come and grab one tonight.
Pie deliveries. Listen,
Pie
I'm
delivery.
gonna match. So as not to be overdone, I'm gonna match my main man with $100 donation in pies going to land back. And where are the drummers? Where are the drummers drumming from? Is that a Rebels jersey? Do we get?
Yeah, so we have drummers from, their name is Toka,
Nuwan,
Dakota drum group from Sisseton, Wahpeton.
Oh, I can't send them pies though if they're from
North Dakota. Yeah.
Shame.
They're
I'm gonna send you
famous.
some virtual pies.
Virtual pies. Virtual pies.
Yeah,
all around,
I'm
everybody.
half Lakota, and that's my brother, my adopted brother, and his group. And my adopted nephew, he was on Disney Channel. Very famous.
Not me. I'm full 100 Ongwahoe and only been on this channel. Sometimes on the news as well, you know. But,
Yeah, so we're
so
gonna
our
get
next
some
one, yeah.
music.
Alright.
Our next artist is Kahsenniyo, who is also
Who's also my wife,
Who's
and who
also
is
his wife.
the most amazing poet, and she will reach inside of you and like pull your soul out of your body and then put it right back in, but it's just a little bit different when she puts it back. And she will make sure that every bit of you is touched whenever she spits the fire that she does. And so, my wife.
Woo!
Let's
Here comes
welcome.
Tahnee.
Kahsenniyo Tahnee Williams.
Hello,
There you go.
Tahnee.
Hello,
Say
hello,
go, say
how are
go.
you?
Do I need to do
Stand
something?
up.
Yeah, so a little bit about Tahnee. So Tahnee is Kahsenniyo Williams is Mohawk Wolf Clan. She's an artist from Six Nations. She is also Skyler Williams' wife and has been there since.
No.
No.
Her husband.
Yes, she is her.
I.
This is all messed up. Sorry.
She is Skyler Williams'
Wife.
wife, but also Skyler is her husband, as we would like to say.
Yeah.
And she has been there at Landback since the beginning.
Yes.
She writes poetry, and she'll be showing a pre-recorded video of herself tonight.
No,
well,
we
actually,
actually
we will
won't.
be. Oh no, we don't have the video.
That's wrong.
I'm
She's
here to
live
do
here.
live.
Okay.
Yeah. She's
Get that out of
I'm
script
right
then.
here.
Hey, it's like Ron Burgundy right now. It's like, I will read whatever the prompter tells me to, alright? So we're going to have a live demo right now. And she will, just like Skyler said,
You can actually
reach
do it.
in and take your soul out of your body, but then place it back. Okay.
So here's Tahnee Williams. Tahnee, do you want to tell us about your poetry?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a couple of poems for you guys. I've been doing spoken word for since I was like 18, and so yeah, I think I'm gonna do like 4 pieces probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's the next number.
Yeah, nice and even.
Even.
So the first piece that I'm gonna do is called Buried, and so I'm just gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Canadians seem to wonder why it seems like we can't pick ourselves up, dust off the dirt. Well, let me tell you, we are still being buried. Still covered in the ashes of our burning homes, broken tongues, still trying to find our children, still loving them. And we never learned how to put out the fire. We only seem to waft the flames. We are still being buried. And the trucks, they keep coming. I ask them to stop. They never listen. I tell them they are taking pieces of me. They only smile, wave at the onlookers, and continue. And there are buildings tall, made of stone, with maps of my body. Men huddle around to look, break apart, reassemble. They expect silence, compliance, but it gets messy and loud, so I send my daughters to the river to wait. Because they always seem to come home to a burning village, a mother being buried alive, speaking truth, uncovering lies, because this Indian war is relentless. No home, no moment in time to breathe. And there is nothing new about this renewed relationship when we are still being buried, our houses still burning, and we still can't find our children. Maybe they are at the river waiting. Thank you.
Aw, thanks.
All right, that is a traditional Indian thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about how you made it? What that means to you?
Yeah, that poem is oddly enough about federal policies.
Wow.
I did a lot of work in research on like doing like community-based like policy analysis on the rights and recognition framework, and there's lots of federal changes to stuff, and so yeah, that was how I coped with 6 months of reading policy. Was writing that piece.
That was
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Amazing inspiration and quite a outcome, quite a product to come out of that. Especially when you take something so terrible as foreign policy over someone else's life, and you can create something so giving and so like everybody is able to connect to it. Amazing.
Thank you. Do you guys want me to do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
Still got 3 more. Yeah.
So the next piece I'm going to do is called Mouth of the River. I'm going to move this just because I'm loud.
Yeah. No problem. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Make your space.
You, my dear, are the mouth of the river, portal to another world. You are bone and tongue, hands and spine. You carry secrets that will change the world. But they want to fill you with greed. Open up your belly to let out hurricanes. They want to tame you. Place sandbags at your banks to avoid flood. Cleansing. They will pick and choose which parts of you they want because they want you underground, not building nations. They want you hungry, desperate. They want to be in your mouth. They want to make your body a home. But you, my dear, are the mouth of a river, portal to another world. You are bone and tongue, hands and spine. You carry secrets that will change the world, so let them out. Thank you.
Thank you. So, can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, I think that one is, about the complexities and suppression of Indigenous matriarchs, and, we as Indigenous women are so powerful and carry the responsibility of raising nations and uplifting our people, and when we look outside of our communities, we're often told not to be those things and not to be amazing and brilliant, and so yeah.
Exactly.
Here.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100,000 million billion bajillion %. Okay, our pie auction is closed now as well. It closed at 8 o'clock. Is that right, guys?
Yes, but
Yes.
we can announce them once we're done this.
We can announce them after we're done Tahnee's talk.
Yes, and obviously we will announce them after. So.
Yeah. So you can tell us your
yeah.
other one, the third.
Okay.
Third, yes.
So this poem is called I Wish, and it's a poem about mothering through colonialism, and like if we really deconstruct residential schools, fundamentally what that was about was trying to break down our family structures and our ability to raise our children. Because fundamentally at the root of who we are is that connection to the land. So it was never actually really about breaking down those family structures. It was about hindering our relationship to the land. And it really impacted our ability to, carry forward with how we love and raise our children. And so that's what this piece is about. My daughters, I wish I could love you, without intergenerational trauma wrapped around my vocal cords, without soot of English in my mouth. I wish my words felt like honey instead of bees. I wish I could love you freely, without emotional constraints that have been placed on me. I wish I could love you like this place never existed, as if our home was never invaded, as if our families were not systematically torn apart at the seams, open, broken, held together by the need to decolonize, to rise. I wish I could love you as if our sovereignty was respected, without our treaties being neglected. Sometimes all I can think about is being able to love you without the weight of our land being stolen. And I want so badly to wrap my arms around you and melt into each other. Without fear of agents knocking on our door, I wish I had something more than this rage to give you. Let it be your protection. Let it be wood for your fire, tend it like gardens on sunny days. I wish this poem wasn't so heavy on my tongue. I wish I could hit rewind. Go back down to that house on the river and place your grandmother back into her mother's arms. I wish I knew stillness instead of chaos, dizziness. I wish I could hit rewind. Another one dead, hung by her neck. Another one OD'd, another child denied basic humanity, another one locked up, another unfair verdict. My girls, I hope another one is never you. I wish it was understood that another one was always the intended outcome of those schools. And as a people, we have a long way to go, my girls. I wish I could love you as if we were already there. But I will love you open, broken, mother you as if you are earth and moon, land and water, intentionally. My daughters, I will love you. Thank you.
I think this is what you're supposed to do.
I like
It's easier on the mics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or you go like this.
I like how you talk about land and water because they go hand in hand. And I think a lot of people kind of forget about water sometimes and how precious it is and that it's just as important. And we own, or Indigenous peoples have as much right to water as they do to land. And governing our water, and that's like what our research project is, and that's what this podcast is coming from. And it's from our Facebook page and from our research on Six Nations water and what's in it. And because if our viewers don't know, this is a research project that was, and this is our community outreach. And we have this research project because Six Nations is in a water crisis. Six Nations has a water crisis, like many Indigenous communities across Canada, and we don't have access to clean drinking water because only 10% of our community is hooked up to the water treatment plant. So that means the rest have to pay for water, and some don't even have running water on their homes, and we're in like a third world country conditions in some areas on our reserve. We don't have proper housing, and the same with water. And when we are doing this study, we have tested for heavy metals, and we came back that we have arsenic in our water. We have 5 different heavy metals that are spread out in our community, and so there's not one source or one area that has the heavy metals, and it's a big issue. And that's what our project is working on, and that's what we're trying to get. Is we're working on cleaning the water, on dam removal, decommissioning the dams so that our water isn't stagnant here and it doesn't keep all the dirty water from our towns upstream like Guelph and Kitchener and Paris, because there's there's 24 sewage pipes that are in the Grand River, and we're at the end. And we have dams at the end and the beginning of reserve, and they dug out our part of the reserve, which is part of environmental racism. And so if people don't know that, that's what our project is trying to work on, is also like our water here. And I like that you're also there when I was fighting Nestle, and you came out and you supported I guess the removal of Nestle taking our aquifer water, because Nestle was also taking our aquifer water. They were taking 3.6 million liters out of our aquifer water from 6 Nations, from a community that already doesn't have access to clean drinking water. And so that's why we gave them a cease and desist on behalf of the chiefs and clan mothers. I advocated for 2 years, going to council, and had 2 protests within the community and at Aberfoyle. And yeah, I think that we need to, since this is a water channel, it's Indigenous, let's talk water. I talk about this, and that we need to also think about land and water, because they go hand in hand, and we can't have land without water, and have safe, clean drinking water. So thank you for always supporting different kinds of movements, and like land back and with water, because I think it's on our responsibility to, as Haudenosaunee women, to protect our waters and our lands for our future generations. So Nyawe, for all you do, and I know that you have one more poem that you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, it was sort of a long description, but
It was
just
good.
just a second.
It's Indigenous, let's
goes
talk
hand in
water,
hand.
so we need to talk about water a little bit here.
Yeah.
For sure, and yeah, thank you for that. And it's always
yeah.
nice to see the young cats, doing the thing, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is super cool.
You're super cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do one last one. So this is my version of a love poem.
Ooh.
Ooh, better get
Oh,
Skyler.
we got the husband and wife right now.
It's me though.
Oh, okay.
So Skyler should be saying this poem.
Yeah.
And yeah, to me, love and the way that, for me, like the way that I chose to raise my family, and the partner that I chose to have as my partner, is also an act of resistance. And and it's always about like rebuilding those family structures, and so this is my version of a love poem. It's not like sexy time love poem. It's a revolutionary love poem.
I can dig it.
So yeah, this poem is called Decolonizing Love. I fell in love with you centuries ago, as we stood below the silver moon, surrounded by trees, mead, weed, and gardens, on my knees, not knowing the complexities that over centuries would be put in our way. And even though I wanted to stay, the white man took me away and held me in the captivity of his lust for me. My brown skin, a symbol of the earth that had no worth to him. And I've been struggling to love you since then. I've been struggling to love myself. I forgot my value when I allowed you to disrespect me. Because as a woman, I am to demand respect, accept nothing less, because I am worthy. But I didn't know how to love the blood that once bound us so tightly. Colonization made it impossible for you to like me, be attracted to me, desire me sexually, respect me, because I am the color of earth. But we took on the colonizer's idea of worth, and it's made us forget who you are, who I am, who we are supposed to be together. Left each other to walk this land with foreign standards of our responsibilities. I abandoned you, And with each one of her breaths, she was left with less. Each time she inhaled, her power prevailed, leaving you living in a secret nightmare. But you put on a happy face, pretend that things are great, but when day grows late and the darkness swallows you whole, you are left with an unfulfilled soul in silence, emptiness, darkness, filled with regret, haunted by blood memories of me, memories of who you are supposed to be, haunted by your strong, soft, rhythmic heartbeat in her captivity. As these beats echo from generations ago, you are reminded of the drums from home, the songs you know you are supposed to sing for your family. And I've realized I don't want to plant gardens alone. It's taken a lot, but I'm glad we've both come home. Assimilated ideologies of our responsibilities, we've let go. My heart you have sown with needles of tradition, held together by threads of language. And your hands will help her build clans. Together, we can heal centuries of collective trauma by fiercely loving the fuck out of each other. The way we raise our children has consequences, so let's soak them in our love. Teach our daughters their hearts are made of lava, have stardust under their tongues, and the ability to shift tides in their wombs. Let's allow our laughter to vibrate so loudly that our great-great-grandchildren feel us in their bones. Thank you. The snappy snap.
Yeah, it was so much, Kahsenniyo. That was awesome, and I love all of them. Mm-hmm. Where did you learn to do that?
I go. For my own mental health, I write, because if not, I carry that all inside.
Yeah, I think us as Indigenous people, we're naturally artists.
Yeah.
And we can sing, can dance, and in different forms, and can write, and yeah, we're just artists in all aspects, because that's basically our culture. Like, we didn't have writing in our culture. We didn't have, we didn't have writing in our culture. We're just naturally
But we had
artists.
many forms of expression.
Yeah.
Self-expression, other people's expression. There was all sorts of other forms of communication other than just the silly
Indigenous people came
flat,
up with
like 2D of writing, right?
Indigenous people came up with sign language. We came up with a lot of things and different ways of art styles.
Communication,
so
Well, it's storytelling, right? Like,
yeah.
that's how I've
oral
always
culture.
That's how I've always seen it, right? Is like, for me, spoken word is like a modern version of like storytelling, and that's a big part of who we are as a people. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
I like the way you speak too, because it was like how we speak in the longhouse. There's a cadence to it, almost the sort of.
It's like a rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a treat in itself. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Nyawa. Iso nyawa.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, Kahsenniyo will be here for a little bit, and if you have any questions for her, you can come in our live section, and she'll answer them.
Okay, so back to the pie action.
Yes, to
and
announce
the
our
GoFundMe.
winners. So the pledge made for these pies are donated to the 1942 Land Bank.
1492.
1492 Land Bank Land GoFundMe. If you won, please donate the amount you commented to the GoFundMe and screenshot your response. Pickup is at Six Nations, and we'll send you the address. Thank you for the GoFundMe page and for the pies. So let's name who won the pies.
Okay, so first up for the blueberry pie is Floyd. Excuse me if I mispronounce your last name, but it says Favel for $250. So thank you very much. It all goes to a good cause. It's great. $250. Way to dig deep, boys.
Apple pie number 2 is Derek Galboot for $50.
Thank you so much.
Pumpkin pie number 1 is Rodney Hill.
No, number 2. Pumpkin
No,
pie number 2.
That was already.
No, see, pumpkin pie number 2.
Okay. Okay. Pumpkin pie number 2 is Rodney Hill.
Rod.
Woohoo!
Woo!
For $25.
25 smackaroonies. All right, nice. And so the banana cream pie, which is among the most, favorited and coveted of all the pies, shall go to the most lucky person, which is Logan Staats. He dished out 100 shells, 100 bones, $100,
Logan
$100
Staats,
bucks.
and he said
Them
he's going to
green
give it
ones.
to Skyler.
Yeah,
So
it's
he'll
coming right
reach
back
out
to
on
us, so
that.
that's why we
Yeah,
gotta
he
keep.
did.
Yeah. So it's coming right back to us. Thank you, Logan, for that shout out. Camera. Yeah. Thank you, Logan.
Apple pie number 1 is Frances Jane Porter for $20. Thank
you, Frances.
Pumpkin pie number 1 is $50 from Laura.
Pie.
Laura Pie. P-I. Yahweh. Laura.
Pie, 3.15.
And is that all of them, Catherine? Okay, great.
Hey,
That is all
that
our
was
pies.
all the pies. Thank you very
So this
much.
one's going to somebody. That one's going to somebody.
You're getting a pie. You're getting a pie. Everybody's getting pies.
Woo.
Woo! And all we have right now is the books as well. Don't
So
forget to
make
put the
sure-
raffles
Yeah,
as well.
go in your raffle.
Go on your raffle ticket money.
Go in your raffle ticket money. Go.
And put in for these books. Act of Genocide and Braiding Sweetgrass. Both really good reads.
Yep, that's the last.
Keep them by your nightstand before you go to sleep. Want to have a couple of thoughts, you want to think about before you go to sleep. Have some good dreams. Read these books.
Yep, okay, so next we have my brother, my adopted brother, and my adopted nephew.
Which one was on Disney?
Disney.
Oh,
There
that
he
guy right there,
is.
yeah. He was on Disney.
Right there, the movie star, TV show star.
We go, oh-ho, for the Disney Channel.
Yes, hi, Mikey. And do you want to say a little bit about your jump group, Mikey, or can you kind of not talk because you're too far away?
Can you hear me from here?
Singing voice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
How about we just sing?
Yeah, okay.
Anya.
Okay, so these guys, I'll introduce you a little bit.
Yeah, you should introduce them.
So there's these guys are from their drum group is called Toka Nuwan, and they're the Dakota drum group from Sisseton, Wahpeton, North Dakota. And they're a young group. They're gonna be singing you Dakota songs.
Dakota.
Get some traditional songs in here. Okay, you can go.
Take it
stop
away,
clapping.
boys.
And we couldn't hear anything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that first song we sang is an encouragement song for your people. Basically says the code we choka kide washte wanake is a lot of us that appreciate our Indian ways of life. We all understand each other, and we like to sing encouragement song for you guys so you can take strength in what you're doing. We also want to sing a straight song just to uplift the spirits, your spirits around there and what you're doing. And then my nephew here, he had made a song, and it's for the Six Nations people. He's gonna gift it to you guys. But we'll sing this straight song, uplift the spirits in the community, and then we'll sing this new song that's specifically for the Six Nations to take strength in your endeavors. I'll hit you, dude. It's good to see you.
Yeah, come down again when the Rebels are playing. Get another sweatshirt.
Yeah, update it.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and sing these two songs and then go from there, I guess.
All right. Yeah.
Hey, 1 second.
Yeah.
Can you move your laptop closer? Because it's hard to hear. As close as possible.
Right on the drum. No, just kidding.
Just sing louder.
Yeah.
Okay, after this song, Makasa has to Lulu real loud though. Lulu real loud.
No. Too scary. Not on live. Awesome song.
So, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, so my nephew here is gonna explain a song. He's a Dakota language instructor at our tribal college here. And he has
Nice.
composed this song and he's gonna explain it.
How?
Last night, it's a new song, so we're just gonna fumble through it. But in the song, it says, the land that they stand for, the land that they cherish, that are they're standing for, like the land that they're standing for, they cherish. 6 nations take strength because the universe sees you. And that's what this song is saying. So it's for everybody up there going through what you guys are going through. And we hope this song reaches way over there from here. I recorded it on my phone, so we're gonna listen to it.
What he's saying is that they just made this song for specifically 6 nations. So he made this song for our 6 nations land protectors just last night, you said?
Yeah.
Just last night. So they just learned this song. So they're going to try and sing as best that they can because they just made it for 6 nations last night. So I think that our viewers should know how important that is and how valuable this song is. And we're so lucky to have someone make a song for us and make a song for our land protectors who are fighting on our front lines right now. Fighting for Skyler, fighting for all of the people who we're raising money for.
Fighting for you and me. Fighting for all of us. This is our land. This is always will be. We are the proprietors of this land. We are the Ongwahowe. We're the original human being.
So again,
remember that. Don't you forget it.
We're raising money for all of the legal fees that our protectors are going through, who have been arrested, who are going through legal issues and have been arrested, have court issues.
Been charged with stuff that really has no need to be charged over these people. They're very innocent. You know, they're very just sticking up for us. You know, they're standing their ground.
We're trying to help raise money for all of their court cases, and we just closed our pie fundraiser, and what is still there is the GoFundMe. So
also our book raffle as well.
So go to the GoFundMe, and each $5 is one entry, and comment your comments in our live stream right here, and comment how much money you donated, and we'll put your name into the raffle, and you can win the Spreading Sweetgrass book or the Active Genocide, Colonialism, and Sterilization of Aboriginal Women in Canada. So make sure you go to the GoFundMe in the comments here and donate your money to the GoFundMe Land Back, and try to win some.
And make sure to tag Oneganos in it as well, you know, because we got to see it, we got to hear it, you got to spread the word.
Make sure you comment how many entries you did, and every entry is $5. So do that right now.
$5.
Go to our comments, go to our discussion.
One entry.
Get money to that GoFundMe.
All right, boys, you ready?
Here we go.
All right, take it away. Oh,
There's your Lily.
there we go. That was
So
amazing.
that song is sung out there for the public, and so it belongs to your Six Nations, and the drum groups up there can use it whenever they need it, or whenever you. We think the drum always gives us strength, especially when people gather. It's important to a lot of tribes to use the drum to keep people held together, especially in hard times when you're, especially like protesting and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Do you wanna send us a recording that will be better than this live stream? If you send us a recording and we can post it onto the land back page and give it to the protectors on the front lines, and so that they can listen to it and our drum groups here can adopt it.
Skyler said they were jamming out to the one I sent them yesterday from Mike.
Skyler said that they were jamming out from the one that you sent yesterday from yourself.
Right on.
So they really like the songs, and so yeah, send them whenever you want, and we'll get them to the front
Yeah.
lines.
Send some more tasty jams. That was a good one.
Yeah, send any recordings. If you want to send more than that, you go right on ahead. Okay, Nyahweh for
Anyways, yeah, so
everything.
thank
and thank
you.
you for that song, and thank you for making it, and
Thank you for giving us that gift.
yeah, and making me Lily. Haven't Lily in like a whole year.
Yeah, it kind of scared me. I never heard her get that loud.
Dexter's like, whoa. He didn't even know what a Lily is. Nobody knows, and we have a whole bunch of people in this house right now.
Nope.
Probably just scared them.
I only know war whooping. Nah.
Yahweh, yeah, we have, thank you so much for those songs and for the new song for our land back protectors. And who we have next, our next artist is Pura Fé. Thank you so much for waiting. I know you've been waiting a long time. I know you might be a little bit sleepy by now, but I hope that you have some energy to sing us a few songs. So we have Pura Fé here, and her introduction is, so Pura Fé is an award-winning Tuscarora artist and a musician and an activist. She has won a French Grammy and a NAMI Native American Music Award. She is recognized for her bringing Native contemporary music to the forefront of the mainstream music industry. Thank you so much, Pura Fé, for being here. She was also at Standing Rock. So, yeah, a lot of our people who were our artists who were on tonight were actually at Standing Rock. So we have lots of connections there and supporting the Lakota, Dakota, Nakota people who are fighting DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline that was that they were fighting not to go under the Mississippi River that would contaminate their water. So,
Yeah.
Yahweh, Pura Fé for being here.
Yeah. Yahweh.
Yeah. So, that was really nice
Oh,
to hear.
um, would you be able to turn up your mic or maybe speak a little bit louder? It's a little bit quiet.
Is that better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's better.
It's real good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A little
okay.
bit louder, if you could.
Okay.
I know you might be a little bit loud when you start singing.
No, I didn't get a chance to test it because I was, anyway. Is that loud enough?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, thank you for asking me to come and join you all in support. And I'm not going to talk. I'm not a talker.
No
but it was
problem.
really,
Thank you for
really
being
good
here.
listening to all of you, everything everyone had to say, and the songs really beautiful. And Tahnee is quite amazing. Her poetry, as well. Everyone, thank you. Anyway, here we go. Start with Passenger Pigeon Dance. Yeah. I don't know if that was staticky or what, how the mix came out.
Woohoo!
Yahweh,
That was
amazing.
a good
Your
one.
voice is amazing. I could never.
Yeah, trust me.
Yahweh.
She could never. Just kidding. You gotta have more confidence in that. You could sing.
I could just Lily.
Yeah, she can though. Yeah, that was amazing. The passenger pigeon dance, otherwise known as Chakawakya. Yahweh.
Yo. One more.
How? Anya.
Can you turn it up a little bit?
Oh, how's that?
Mm-hmm.
That's good?
Just the max, maybe.
Okay, so was it staticky?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because it was like red light over here. Okay.
Hey, Sego, hello. My name is Murray Porter. I come from the 6 stations of the Grand River Territory in southern Ontario.
I was a little messy here.
Yes, thank you so much. Iso Nyawe.
Yeah.
That was good. Another Chakawakya.
You got another song for us?
If you want, you do one more.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we want.
Whatever. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's canoe song.
Oh.
Okay. I think that's okay. Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
You made a whole song, right? By yourself. You
Yes,
were the
ma'am.
bass. You were everything. I've never seen anybody do that before. And I guess that's why you're award winning and you're amazing and you're recognized globally for your work. Yahweh, and thank you for coming, supporting, and yeah.
Thank you for sharing your gift of song, music, voice.
Yeah, our audience
everything.
needs to hear it. I think our audience and ourselves had it really touched our souls to have all of these amazing artists and all these songs tonight, and including yourself, and being here in support of our land defenders and the people who are putting literally their lives on the line for us to have our land no longer taken away.
We have so much
encroached on.
gratitude towards you. You know, like
Mhm.
you being here is a testament to what we are doing. You know, all we're doing is spreading love and the terms that were used before, radical love. You know, some truth that was once known by throughout. You know, it was such a rich knowledge back then, but now it's become so scarce to where we have to do things like this in order to spread that love once again. You know, so thank you for coming here. You know, that was amazing.
Pura Fé,
You know,
that was
Iso
amazing.
Nyawa.
And, yeah.
And thank you for what you all do, and it's really great to see young people speaking the way you do and standing for what you stand for, and just continuing and getting deeper and deeper into what we really are about, and just preserving and just persevering and moving forward. It's fantastic. Thank you. Nyawa.
Thank you, Nyawa.
So, our next artists are from the same, are from Six Nations also, and they might actually even sing the same songs. Who knows? We have Six Nations singers, Cam Hill, Dexter Jimerson, and Norman Cooke. They all go to Sour Springs Longhouse, Sour Springs Boy.
We go to all the longhouses. We're everywhere, but we're nowhere. Not just kidding. Come on in.
I'll move for them.
Oh, okay, we're back, and I have with me some of my co-artists, my Ongaitse and my Jachi, and I also have some books for you. So I gotta mention these real quick, right here. These books: Brain Sweetgrass, Act of Genocide. We're still having the book raffle. You know, GoFundMe page, $14.92 land back. Put in $5, one entry. $20, 4 entries. You know, we gotta keep it going. We gotta get these guys out of jail. Keep them out. All right. So on my left here, I have my cousin Norm, and on my right here, I have my good buddy Cam Hill. Say hello.
Scano.
Where are you guys from?
Six Nations. Born and raised. Can't really tell you that.
Oh, how?
Parts unknown.
Yeah, parts unknown. He's from where the land meets the sky. Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Neighbor.
A neighbor, eh? All right, let's go then. Whatever you want.
Have you
do some.
A little faster?
Yeah, a little faster. Yeah, speed her up a little bit. Oh, all right. So, just cut it off now. You guys feel like doing one more? Maybe rattle dance or something?
Sounds good. Sure.
Yeah.
More people are tuning in because of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're getting lots of views. More money for GoFundMe.
Do my famous sort of. Anyo. No, I don't know.
Which one, Garter?
Okay, that's it for this round.
How are we gonna follow that?
Yeah. How are we supposed to follow that one? Holy smokes, I need a drink. You got my drink over there? Let's see. We got 20 more minutes left in the hour, so we can jam it out or just cut it off. What do you guys think?
Any requests
in the live comments?
Oh, there's no request.
Okay. Well, how much money was raised altogether?
I don't want. I think maybe like 1,500 to 2,000. I'm not exactly sure though.
Okay. We need those more donations. So dig out your pocketbooks, get out the change, go dig through your laundry, through your couch, whatever you got to do, get that money down there. Yahweh.
Maybe tell him.
Thank you for the gift of water. Thank you very much. Okay, so currently we raised up to about $2,000.
1,500.
1,500.
1,500 $2,000 ballpark, because we're not 100% sure.
Okay.
We don't know if all the GoFundMe donations came from our show.
Okay.
So we don't want to take credit. But yeah.
Okay, so we don't really want to take credit, but
During this 2.5 hours.
but we have been receiving donations, I guess.
The pies raised $500. Yeah, like 500.
Okay, the pies did really well. $500. Those are delicious pies.
Go.
Okakui. Okay, you guys all tuned up or what? Now we get into the hard stuff. No. Okay. So we got the GoFundMe page back up. 1492 Landback Lane. The GoFundMe legal fund for everybody out there that got arrested or charged. You know, they're just basically just standing up for our rights. All the land defenders out there, get out there, dig into your pocketbooks, go look for that change. You know, you got a few dollars around somewhere, so donate that. Okay, so should we just one more? I guess one more. Scatso, Scaragua. What you think? Aho. They say aho.
You want something fast?
Yeah. Maybe some Monocchio.
Not me.
To the boys, thank you for coming, being on the show.
Yeah, for having us.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, say it to the microphone one more time.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Oh, you heard it from him himself. Yay. Yeah, whisper that into your ear. Okay. Okay, thank you guys. We're gonna have to close out the show now as it is getting very late and I gotta go home and go to bed. Okay.
So we raised.
Shanda. Oh. Okay. Shanda.
We raised $2,000.
Okay, we raised $2,000. Good effort, everybody.
Good job, everybody.
So job.
Now I tell our supporters.
You can keep donating.
Keep donating. Yeah.
2 days tomorrow. You can donate $10, 15, 20.
Maybe even a loony.
That
It
link
all
will
adds up.
always be there so you can donate anytime.
It'll always be on there, so just go donate anytime. You know, you can log into the GoFundMe page. You know, if you can log into Facebook, you can log into GoFundMe. So get out your money and go and spend it on something useful this Christmas.
Land bag.
Yeah. Cause
What do we want for Christmas?
Cause what do I want? We want land bag. Yeah, that's what we want for Christmas. Land bag. Santa Claus and your sleigh bring us back some land. Okay. And some unbroken treaties, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. Yeah. This is just water, by the way. It's Oneganos. Well, it's not really cold, but it is Onega. It's liquid as sweat.
Yeah, we'll come back for our sign-off. And we'll come back for our sign-off.
Thank you for staying in tune. Okay, we'll come back for a sign-off with me and Makasa. Yahweh. Okay, we're back.
Nyawe, everybody, for all our viewers, and we raised $2,000 through our. So thank you to all of our viewers for donating $2,000 altogether. We raised $2,000 for the legal fees for land back. And we're gonna sign off now. Thank you. This is our season finale, so come back when our season 3 is gonna be up in the new year.
After midwinters, of course.
After midwinter ceremony.
Got things to do.
But if you want to stay in touch, I think we'll be loading different digital stories throughout the time that we'll be gone. So you make sure you tune in because we'll be back for all new season 3.
And hopefully we'll be uploading some highlights from the previous season as well.
Yeah.
So take a look see at those.
Yep, at all of our highlights,
up.
And we're going to combine all of the views, we're going to combine all the videos and all of the live stream into one. So make sure you tune into that to get all the good parts.
And we will thank each and every one of you individually. Just kidding.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms like the Facebook,
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
And stay updated on our show and our project.
If you want to watch any of the previous episodes, just go to our Indigenous page, and the videos are uploaded there, and they're recorded, and also they're on YouTube. So all of our every single episode is on
every live
YouTube.
Stream, and they will be uploaded a day after.
Yep. So season 1 is on there. Season 2 is on YouTube. So just Google Indigenous Let's Talk Water, and we'll pop up on YouTube, and you can watch any of the episodes that you missed, and if you want to catch up on any and the title of each one is on the video. So if you want to watch one about land, one about water, one about mapping,
one about women, one about
ecosystem.
All of them on there.
They're all on there.
Yeah.
So if you have any interest in any of them, any of those, go back on YouTube or our Facebook page, and they'll be there.
And remember, our book raffle is still going, still strong, and we also have T-shirts as well that we'd like to sell. And the book raffle is for An Act of Genocide and Braids of Sweetgrass.
Yeah,
both good reads.
If you want a T-shirt, make sure you can just send us a message, and you can buy them.
Are we selling them or auctioning them? Auction?
We're just auctioning them, I guess. So
Same tool as the books.
Same thing as the books. Go to GoFundMe and comment how much money you donated on our
GoFundMe.
On our page. You can just comment there, or just message the Facebook group if you want to win this.
If you want to win that, yeah. It's a nice shirt.
And thank you
Fits
for
really
our
well.
crew.
It's cotton. It's good.
Thank you for our crew, Hannah and Catherine and Colin and Don,
Hannah, Catherine,
Dr. Don.
Colin,
Thank
Don,
you for the whole crew.
Ashley
Alex,
for the pies because they're so delicious.
Alex and Summer.
I'm gonna send me in a diabetic shot. They were so sweet. And for Cam and Norm and Logan and Matthew and our guests today.
All of our guests
Skyler
throughout the
and his
season.
wife.
Thank you. And Dakota Drum. Thank you, everybody
and
who
the drum group
came today. Yeah,
and also to Pura Fé as well.
Yep, Pura
Lovely
Fé.
tunes. It was transcendent.
And
It felt like I
MP.
was floating through the air.
Is he MP?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
Matthew.
MP. We're gonna change those around to PM. He'll be Prime Minister.
Thank
okay,
you.
now
See ya.
signing off. Peace. Word to your mother.